is Christian-based, I will not do it. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever.
I think we have I think we have about 8 minutes of questions left for this particular race. Let's go ahead and ask us some of the questions that people have dropped to us up on their cards. First off, and this is with everybody, how are you going to stop the government takeover of health care? The closest, I'm going to let Jason on down number 5 over here. Grab it first.
Healthcare is now law. There's nothing that we can do about it until January 3rd when the new Congress takes over in the White House. I expect that we're going to get a good, strong majority. Now, at that point, we're going to look for repeal of health care because we had the finest health care in the world. Everybody was particularly satisfied for it. And when Obama came along, they wanted to pass this universal health care, which we cannot afford. We're bankrupt right now. We're in debt up to our ears. We've got a $13 trillion debt, and we've got about $106 trillion debt that is unsecured debt, which they robbed from Social Security, the question that gentleman asked before. That's why Social Security is broke right now, because in the beginning of it, they said, well, we'll put it into a locked box. They did all right, and the first guy that could pull the IOU out, or the money out, and put an IOU in its place. So that's why Social Security is in such a bad condition right now. To get out of health care, you can't do it until you repeal it, and we intend strongly to repeal it. The idea is to keep him from going further with this thing. We've got a very touchy time between November. They're going to try to ram cap and trade down. They're going to try and ram new controls on the banking system. So we've got to band together and voice like you were doing here today. This is the most wonderful American thing that I've ever seen. American people coming before their representatives and demanding firm answers. And they deserve firm answers. I have put on 5 Tea Parties so far. I am a Tea Party candidate. And believe me, that's the salvation of this nation when it comes to the election in November the 5th.
Thank you. In addition to what my friend Don talked about, I think the other things that we can do as a group is, number one, support Mike Cox in his lawsuit. Because we know that the best thing is to stand up for our 10th Amendment rights. And we need to continue to work very hard on that. The second component is that there have been a variety of different petitions out there. I encourage you all to sign those petitions. In addition to that, we, as a congressman, if I have the honor of being elected, will, number one, do everything in my power to repeal it. Everything in our power to stop the funding of it. Everything in our power to roadblock any implementation, because I think this is going to be one of the worst events in the history of our country. We need to stop national health care. Thank you.
Well, the question was, the government take over health care? Other than the bill being passed, I don't know exactly, and I don't think anybody really knows how strict it's going to be, but there's some obvious bad issues. I would vote to repeal it in a heartbeat.
And finally, Tom Stillings.
The problem will be last. Most everything's been said. Hopefully the Supreme Court will do the right thing and just throw this thing out like the trash I was discussing earlier. Because this is a tax bill. It's not a health care bill. There's more taxes and less health care for everybody in this bill. You know, all those 2,700 pages, whatever, is just a good hiding place for everything that they want to do but knew you wouldn't like. So, assuming the Supreme Court doesn't get the job done, we as a Congress have to do it. Not just vote for it, not just cheer on somebody, but actively work. Communicate with other congressmen to get the job done. Get this piece of junk repealed, then go about some cost-saving efforts that will reduce the actual cost of health care without taking away the quality of health care.
Ask one of the written questions is this again to all the candidates. Tom, hang on to the mic and just pass it backwards in order again. And that is, what are you going to do to make sure cap and trade does not become law? Tom, go ahead. Tom Stillings.
You know, it goes back to the very same answer I just gave. You know,